Jamie, firstly, how are you?
I'm good. It's a big day for the podcast, I think.
You've been quite excited about this. You've put in a bit of work, haven't you?
Yeah, but maybe too much because I'm questioning and doubting every single moment. And I know that you're going to play psychological games, so this might be one of my greatest performances ever if I can cope with you.
Is that the
I'm intimidated already. Just get on with it.
Is that the grand reveal? Are you the number one?
I should be.
We're good to go? Okay. Hello and welcome to this episode of Human Alchemy. Today's episode is all on the top 5 greatest performances under pressure. And to spare you from my voice the entire time, I have enlisted the help of a guest. So today I have with me an ex-guest and first repeat guest, Jamie Monk, who came on my show before and had a viral clip, 800,000 views on it.
Yeah.
Mostly
hate. Thanks, Ross.
So Jamie, welcome. Jamie, so you did come on. Fantastic episode. Lots of good feedback on it.
Yeah.
But the one clip that did go quite viral was you talking about running, and you did get quite a bit of hate off the back of it, didn't you?
More than I thought.
Guest beware.
I stick by it, though. No one's made me change my mind on it.
And nor should they.
Okay.
So we've been talking quite a bit around performance under pressure on this show as of late. And this episode will be coming out before the next series of guests. We have 3 to 4 guests that are going to be a very, very, in my opinion, high-level cast. I'm looking forward to that. But on this topic of the top 5 greatest performances under pressure, I thought it would be good to sort of map out the landscape and explain what we kind of mean by performance under pressure in real context. So I've enlisted the help of Jamie. He has put together his top 5. I've put together my top 5, and we're going to battle it out. Now, to set out the ground rules, because I want to try and get straight into this, we're going to be reading out our 5, then Jamie's 5, my 4, Jamie's 4, until we get to 1. When we get to 1, we will then break it down into an overall top 5, for which we will be deliberating, not debating.
Yeah.
So we'll be coming to the right answer, not fighting over it.
Okay, maybe.
We will also have 3 honourable mentions that we'll start with a little brief overview of ones that almost made the cut. Just so you understand the criteria we're using here. So we are not looking at the best overall performances.
Mm-hmm.
If you're thinking about people like maybe Michael Jordan or Tiger Woods or some of these people that have had maybe the best performances ever, they don't make our list.
Yeah.
The list is based on 5 key things. The first one is it must be an individual performance. That doesn't mean it has to be an individual sport. It just means it has to be attributed to one person within the team. So did that person perform at an unbelievably high level under pressure? We all good on that one?
Yeah.
Perfect. The second one is it's sustained, not a single moment. So we're not looking at perhaps one shot in golf.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be either minimum a hole,
Yeah.
or, which works well for me later,
Yeah.
or it can't be a shot in basketball per se, or a throw. It has to be sustained performance.
Yeah.
And we're slightly ambiguous with how long sustained performance is, but it cannot be a single moment.
Yeah.
Great stuff. The third one, and one of the biggest ones, is felt pressure. So they have to actually be feeling pressure and perform in spite of it.
Mm-hmm.
So if they are an absolute animal that we don't think really felt any pressure at all, that actually slightly counts against them.
And that's why we probably discounted that Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
Scotty Scheffler is probably a good example at the moment. The
Exactly.
ones that just run away and win, then the pressure is maybe less.
That's exactly it. If the performance is too easy, we count that as lower pressure.
They're almost too good.
They're too good for our list.
Yeah.
So no offense to people on our list. But that doesn't mean these performances aren't good. It just means they weren't a walkover.
Yeah.
Which also comes to number 4, which is the consequences. There has to be a high level of consequence for failing.
I have weighted this one highly.
Yeah, I think it is a big one. And then the last one is historical impact. It's a little bit lower for me, but was this a big moment? So they don't all count the same. They don't have to have all of them.
Mm-hmm.
But that's where we can have a little bit of discussion.
Okay.
The other point on this is they don't have to have won. That said, all of mine have.
So that's interesting. Not all of mine have, but all of mine in the top 5 have.
Oh, okay. Oh, you've got Illusion in the honourable mentions. Interesting.
I mean,
Okay.
yeah, I've got one in my whole list that didn't win.
Okay, nice. Well, I
Yeah.
like that there is one. With each one, whoever's pick it is will have their chance to basically put the case forward
Yeah.
and also give a few why they're not higher. And then the other person can then give their comments. So that's our format.
Okay. I think one thing I should caveat with mine, and I reckon it's the same for yours, is age and location.
Oh, yeah.
Recency. Yeah.
What should listeners expect to hear from
Well,
us?
I think we're going to be biased and skewed towards 30-ish-year-old males from the UK. I've tried
That's
not to
right.
be, but I think inevitably looking at some performances, they stick out in my mind more because of who we are and where we're from.
Yeah, definitely. There is going to be a recency bias to our picks. There's also going to be probably a male skew, I think, because it's the sports we've watched more. So there's more of an emotional connection there. But other than that, we also might have to say there are probably absolutely loads we've missed.
Definitely.
almost
I would like
certain.
to be having more hate come my way with people
I
contesting.
think hate will be on the way for us, Jamie. But
Great.
I think with that, we should just get straight into this. So why don't you take me through your 3 honourable mentions to kick us off?
Okay. So honourable mentions for me are 8, 7, 6 in the list. So 8, I've gone for one which is close to my roots in athletics. So Alison Felix, do you know much about her?
I don't.
So American track athlete, she's the most decorated American track athlete ever. And she came 3rd in Tokyo. And she did win the gold in the 400 relay. But the reason why I've got her is because she had a baby. During her pregnancy, she genuinely very nearly died. She was sponsored by Nike. She was like the biggest female athlete globally with Nike for a long time. And she kind of fought them through their policies, through maternity leave and things like that. And she had a massive public campaign against the rights that she got and all these sorts of different things. And so basically when it came to Tokyo, she ran in her own trainer that she'd designed. There was this huge public story around her. I think she was about 35 at the time, which having competed in athletics is pretty old, for a short distance as well. So she had all of this on her. And it was one of those moments where she'd made such impact and such noise that I felt like if she wanted it to land with the biggest amount of impact, her having some sort of success in Tokyo would have been the best way to do it. And I don't think she was a favourite at all. I think she was looking to compete, but actually the fact that she managed to medal with all of that behind her in her own shoes, I think it's a story that people should look at because I think being based in the UK, people don't know enough about it.
Okay.
So as an athlete, she's incredible. She came 3rd in that, but then she did win the 4x4 relay, but obviously that's a group thing.
That's a gold.
So yeah, she got gold and a bronze.
After all, that's pretty impressive.
And she became the most decorated US track athlete ever as a result of it.
Okay, so that's pretty impressive.
I think so.
Nice first one. Who is your other 2 honourable mentions?
So 7, Lewis Hamilton.
When?
2008, his first title.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So the reason why is because I think at the age he was the youngest ever leader of a world championship, I think. I think he was about 22, 23. Obviously British, so there's massive pressure that we felt and watched. But the final race of that world championship year was in Brazil. Felipe Massa was his closest competitor, who was from Brazil. Lewis had to finish in 5th, I think, to win the world championship. Massa had to win. Massa won, and Lewis was in 5th for a lot of the race, but he dropped to 6th. So he was technically not at that point going to win the world championship in Brazil, so in Massa's home country. And he basically had one final lap. I think it was Timo Glock to pass to get 5th position and then win the world championship. And he did do that. Yeah. And I think this line that I like about it is that the world championship was only decided with 30 seconds left of the whole season. So he had one moment to do it. And I know that that's why Formula One is quite low for me, because the cars and the tyres, so like the Abu Dhabi race, Max doesn't get higher for me because I think his tyres were that much better.
That's a good cause. I was thinking, is there an F1 example here? I struggled to get one that was sort of such big pressure and such big delivery.
Like if Lewis didn't do it. He's basically, in my opinion, in 2008, going from a catastrophically dreadful performance by not doing the job to one of the best performances ever under pressure. Like, that's the margin. Because if he didn't win by only needing fifth, I'm sure they'd consider it. But also the race, I'm sure, rained, which just threw everything out. So there was massive uncertainty. There were strategy issues. So there's a lot to deal with.
Okay, and your final honourable mention?
So, again, massive bias for me, Mo Farah, London 2012.
Okay.
So I was actually there for his 5,000 metres, which was the Super Saturday when we
race.
won.
Wow.
Yeah, so we won. If only. Where we won 3 goals within 45 minutes, I think it was. So Jess, Mo, and then
Rutherford.
Yeah, exactly. So the reason why I've got it is because he'd already won the 10,000. So you might be like, well, that's less pressure. But it's more the way that he executed the race. So I think the race time, it wasn't incredible. It was like 13:40 odd, something like that. But Mo sat at the back the whole race. So he was just letting everything happen in front of him, 80,000 seat stadium. And it was amazing being there because in the stadium, as he was doing a lap, there was like a Mexican wave going round, as in the crowd got up when he was running past. So there was this constant thing for 13, 14 minutes going on. But why I think it was so good is because it was all about his decision-making under pressure at a specific moment. So I think everyone knew that Mo likes to run a relatively slow race and then he likes to, at the bell or just before, he goes for it, which he did do. But if you look at how much he won the race by, it was really small.
How much was it?
It was like, a metre or two.
Really?
Like, it was really tight. And so the reason why I think it's good beyond the physical, which he obviously had to do, but that's maybe less in your control. Like, you've either got it or you haven't, and how you prepare comes into that. Going back to the criteria, you've got the moment of the strategy, but then you've got a crowning moment of, I'm going to go now. This is the right time. This is the right conviction. And then executing it as well. I think that it was incredible.
I like that.
Yeah?
It's a good list. Mo Farah, Lewis Hamilton.
Alison Felix.
Alison Felix. You're right, because I've not heard about Alison Felix.
I don't know if she's got a documentary about her, but she should do. I'm sure she does, to be honest.
I like that. So here are my honourable mentions. I whiz through them for you. So at number 8, I've actually been quite sneaky. I've done a slash. I've had a slash.
Oh no!
With my pen.
That's a red flag.
So I wanted to have Andy Murray in there for his first Wimbledon because I just think the amount of pressure. I remember the feel every time he would turn up to Wimbledon. The pressure for him to win.
Yeah,
and he was never really the number one player. I know he was on the rankings, but I don't think anyone ever really felt Murray is our number one.
Okay.
The reason he's not higher is because in the end, it wasn't that difficult. I'm pretty sure he won 3-1, perhaps.
Well, is now a good time to tell you that he's higher in my list?
For that exact thing?
Yeah.
For this exact one. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is another rule. If you say one earlier than someone else, we won't debate it till we get to the higher one.
Okay, you don't have to wait long because it's next
fine,
for me.
Perfect. So Murray, and then I've slashed it with Nadal beating Federer in the 5-setter.
The classic.
Now again, unbelievable performance, classic tennis match. Everyone remembers it. I remember Federer being the favourite for that. And when I look back into the archives, which I'm sure you've done as well, we are research-led, evidence-led.
Yeah.
I believe Federer was the favourite.
Yeah.
So it was Nadal's first Wimbledon. So there was huge pressure.
Yeah.
I do think that element of being the underdog takes away. Now, I do have a couple of other underdogs higher up, but there's reasons why they're higher. So for me, when I think about it, actually probably could be higher. I think it's 5 sets, consistent.
It went on a long time. But I think one reason why it wouldn't be higher for me, and it's not in the rest of my list, is because you get a go at Wimbledon every year. And so Nadal was early on.
Yeah, fair enough. I've also got another tennis one now.
So wait, sorry, was that your number 8?
Number 8.
Okay, because you seem very unsure.
Yeah, I just couldn't decide anything, so I wanted to mention Murray. I actually didn't need to now that you have
I'm going to get him.
We haven't compared lists, by the way, just so everyone's aware. We don't know.
This could be incredibly boring, actually, because we haven't done that.
I don't think it will.
No.
I'll make it not so.
Yeah.
But my next one's actually Serena Williams versus Venus Williams 2002.
See, I saw that one. I didn't know how to think about it.
So this is where I think it's interesting because you could go down either route and say that is more pressure or less pressure based on the fact that this is. I personally think it's more pressure. The other reason is Serena Williams at that point wasn't the Serena Williams we see today. Venus had won the 2 previous Wimbledons.
Yeah.
So she'd won 2000, 2001. So in 2002, Serena Williams is up against it. She's only won one major before that. Venus has won 4. You probably have everything in your mind thinking she's going to do it again. I don't know what their mindsets are.
Yeah.
I can't imagine they're like us. But equally, you're at Wimbledon, biggest tournament in the world of tennis. Like you say, it does happen every year. That's why it's maybe not higher up. You're against your sister, who knows everything about you and vice versa.
Yeah.
She's won it the last 2 years. The pressure there is, in my opinion, very high. The first set goes to a tiebreak. So the pressure there is unbelievable. And then she wins the next set.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a 3-setter. Had it been a 3-setter, that might creep up into that number 5 or 4 slot.
Yeah.
But it doesn't.
Interesting. The family element is what does it for me. It's like the Brownlee brothers, like when they were competing in the Olympics. I don't know how you feel or navigate through that, but I think it adds some kind of pressure in some way.
So that's my 7. And then my 6 is Johnny Wilkinson, 2003. So do you have Johnny Wilkinson?
Hard disagree. Yes,
you wouldn't have it?
I do have him.
Oh, you have him higher?
You've placed him wrong. Yeah.
Oh, okay, right. So we won't come to Johnny Wilkinson yet. That's my final honourable mention. You have him higher. So we'll discuss it at that time, and then we can duke it out.
Okay.
So that does bring us into the main event. You take me through. Who is your number 5?
We've sort of given it away, but it's Andy Murray, 2013 Wimbledon.
Okay.
So I feel like the reason you've maybe stitched yourself up here slightly because you said all the reasons why it was so good, and the reason why you haven't placed it higher was because of how he performed in the final, which I think is a fair point. I think he won the final 3 sets to love.
Was it 3-love? I always thought it was 3-1.
Yeah, I think I definitely have looked it up.
Oh, you've looked it up.
Because I thought it was 3-1 as well.
I didn't look up my honourable mentions as much as my 5, so
not as prepared. That's okay. I expect nothing
it was
less.
3-love.
Yeah. But I think going back to your point on favourite, so Djokovic was the favourite, quite strong favourite. Murray had lost the year before. That was a big factor for me. I think we all know and get the sense of what it feels like to be in the UK when Wimbledon's on. The last person who was British who won Wimbledon, male certainly, was Fred Perry, wasn't it? And that was like 70 or 80 years before. I remember watching the last game, and I think he had 3 championship points and didn't convert them. I think the last game lasted about 10 to 12 minutes, something like that. So I think that for me, it's as high as it is because of the legacy pressure. That point is the one that got me. I think if it was a 5-set Nadal Federer style, yeah, it would have made it easily. The only thing holding it back, but I think he's maybe undervalued. If you remember from our lifetime, certainly in our generation, watching Tim Henman, who's a legend but made many semi-finals, it just never got there. So Andy Murray to actually get there and then do what he did. Also, I know it's not related, but the year before he won gold at the Olympics in the tennis, which was going to be in my list. But I swapped it because I think that the weight of tennis fans probably put more importance on Wimbledon than an Olympics.
Yeah, I think there is a very good argument actually there. And I will give it to you. He probably does. Whether I'd still have him in my top 5, I'm not sure. But he, like you say, we've had the Tim Henman, the Greg Rosetsky, they gave it their absolute all. But especially in the era of who he was competing against.
Yeah.
And I do remember that period when he was winning Wimbledons and he won the Olympics. That might have been the one period where he was kind of at the level.
And I think now it shows that the others, because there could have potentially been an argument that the others were slightly older, so the Djokovic, Federer and Nadal trio, people might have said, oh, they're getting on a bit, they're not quite at their peak. Maybe not peak, but the fact that they've all played for so much longer since shows that they must have been in pretty good shape.
They were, weren't
He was
they?
competing at a similar level to them.
Yeah, I think, like you say there, no one has won it before. You have so much pressure on you. That said, the thing that takes away from me, it was quite routine in the end. So that sustained pressure across the performance wasn't there in the way that it would have been had he been a set down, 2 sets down. Then that for me would take him almost top 3 sort of level.
I know.
So, but I see why you've gone with 5.
I accept what you've said as well. So I think it's one that I like, but I could see the other side, and I haven't got anything better.
Well, I'm glad he's there.
Okay.
I think he gave his all. I don't think he had much left in the tank to give.
With his little ankle straps on.
He drove himself.
And everyone loves him now, which is great. He deserves that.
Okay, so my number 5 is Muhammad Ali.
Ah, okay.
So Muhammad Ali, 1974 against George Foreman.
By the way, there's no way I can argue against this. Go for
Well,
it.
let me convince you, 'cause I know this is probably our oldest one. So this is
Yeah.
1974. This is in Democratic Republic of Congo,
Yeah.
which was called Zaire back then,
Okay.
if you're interested,
Nice.
in Kinshasa. So this, for me, is at number 5. The context around this, for anyone who's listening, you may have heard of the Rumble in the Jungle. You may not know the context of how it was fought, especially if you're our age. He was actually the heavy underdog here. So this is one of my underdog ones.
Okay.
Muhammad Ali was a heavy underdog. At this point, he's 32. Foreman's 25. Peak condition. Foreman at this point is 40-0 in fights with 37 knockouts. So in terms of pressure, the legacy Muhammad Ali already has is a little bit on the line. You know what Muhammad Ali's like. He talks up every single fight. It's a big deal. So this is huge. He's 4-1 against to win. So he is genuinely the underdog, despite the fact that he is Muhammad Ali. Foreman has already destroyed Frazier and Norton, who are the two that beat Ali.
Yeah.
So, and he beat them both in 2 rounds. So he's a big puncher.
Yeah.
Ali, if you want a spoiler, knocks him out in the 8th round. And he did what went on to be known the rope-a-dope strategy, where you've actually seen him in the clips, and he's like just there, just avoiding the punches of Foreman.
Yeah.
And you also know that Foreman is one of the biggest hitters there is. So you're thinking the whole time, this could end very badly, could be the end of my career.
One mislip, yeah.
One mislip consistently for 8 rounds, and then he knocks him out by tiring him out. So the pressure for me there is massive. I think as a global moment as well, it was huge.
Yeah,
there was
definitely.
a lot. So it's probably the one where I'd use that factor of historical impact as like maybe the highest. Yeah. It was huge.
Yeah, I'd agree.
So for Ali to give it as much as he did verbally and then go out and deliver with the context, I think is my number 5.
So question, because you are a good salesman. Why have neither of us got that higher? Because I'm like that, like historically.
Oh, I'll give you my cons.
Okay.
So my cons for this one are he was the underdog. So if everyone's thinking it's someone else, that's less pressure.
Okay.
I still think I don't think you can be involved in a fight like that without pressure.
Yeah.
And the way he sells himself in it. So, but being an underdog, have you got less to lose?
Yeah.
Potentially. There was a lot of political elements going on around this as well. I won't go into it.
Probably best.
And also knowing sort of you don't know how real it is, but the whole aura around Muhammad Ali, how much did he feel the pressure? I don't know.
But
he has had a couple of losses, so he knows it can happen to him. You're going up against probably the most formidable fighter you'll go up against. And you're going up when you're slightly older. You may think, easy to knock down now. But I think perhaps less felt, and he's the underdog. That's why he's 5 and not higher.
Okay. I think, because I thought about a few boxes, and the thing that stopped me on occasions was what was on the line.
Yes, okay.
So it might have been one belt, but it wasn't more, like there's obviously so many belts in different categories and things like that.
Yeah.
So
I definitely wanted a combat sport because I felt if we talk about stakes and consequences,
yeah.
Whenever I watch a big fight, I sometimes feel the pressure being sat there, and I felt there has to be one, and this for me is the biggest of all time.
I like it.
So there we have it.
Okay.
Those are our 5s.
Yes.
4.
Okay. I've gone American again.
Have you?
I
Interesting.
have.
My 4 is also American.
Oh, okay. I don't think they're the same.
I don't think they are. That said, we have other British people in here, by the way, if anyone's interested.
Yeah,
do you?
Are they British?
Yeah. Do you have a...
Yeah, I think the rest of mine are. Yeah, you've got a bit left field.
A lot of my listeners are British.
I'm sure.
Do you know about my demographics for my listeners?
My friends and family.
Friends and family.
Mum's a big fan.
Friends
She
and
sends
family.
a vest.
So I'll tell you about all 15 of them now. But they are highly intelligent.
Yeah.
All my listeners are highly intelligent.
Yeah, of
critical
course.
thinkers.
Okay.
And when I say that, I mean they think critical things about me.
And tell me about them.
No, sorry, back on top. Right,
Okay.
number 4, Jamie.
I have gone for Simone Biles, Paris 2024.
Okay, so this is post.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So do you remember 2021?
She had a lot of mental health problems.
Yeah, so she got the twisties.
Okay, I don't know what that is.
So, well, I'm not a gymnast, so I'm not going to do a good job of explaining it, but I think it's about your perspective and vision in terms of when you're tumbling and twisting, of being able to reference where you are in the air.
Oh, okay.
So almost having a scrambled mind. I mean, you've been concussed. I'm not sure if it's a similar feeling, but when you...
You can't orient yourself.
Exactly.
Okay.
And so she was very open, because obviously Tokyo was 2021 when it technically should have been 2020.
Yeah.
So it was the sort of COVID Olympics. And she was really open about it. And she was the serious favourite going into that Olympics. And I think she ended up with a bronze and a silver and had to pull out of multiple finals. And the reason why I've got her so high is because you have to watch her routine on the floor. Like, it's ridiculous. It's just silly what she's doing. You can't understand, like, the power, the precision. But also, I remember the narrative around her it wasn't about whether she was the best ever. It was just about, like, is she mentally weak?
A lot of people were questioning her, weren't they?
Yeah, exactly. I think that's actually, she also, interestingly, I think deliberately lowered her difficulty, but execution-wise, just completely nailed it. So for me as well, it's having the conviction in doing the thing that you're doing really well, delivering that under the greatest pressure. She did win relatively easily, I think. I think her last round, like, she was quite a clear winning margin,
Okay.
which is a negative, but it cemented her place as, like, the best ever.
Okay. So there's a theme with yours. That turmoil pre-event is quite big for you.
Yeah, I think so.
So obviously, no understanding of gymnastics from my end either. What I do understand is that she's one of the greatest of all time, if not the greatest gymnast of all time.
Yeah.
She has already won a lot.
Yeah.
So the real pressure there is, does she still have it? Is she mentally weak? That's the thing that was riding on her. So, but equally went fairly smoothly, and she has already won a lot.
But I think that the answer that she was giving to anyone wasn't about the medals. It was, don't ever doubt me.
Okay.
And I think a lot of the performances that I've admired that haven't made my list are those when people are being written off and then they've just delivered what they do very well, and then the doubt goes. Can I give you another one which was really close on my list at this point? Was it's bias, recency bias, because of the Winter Olympics.
Okay.
Did you watch the men's half-pipe snowboard final?
No.
Do you know about Scotty James?
No.
The Australian, so he's an Australian snowboarder. He's won everything apart from the Olympics. So he's won...
I feel that's the big one.
Well...
in winter sport.
Yeah, I hate to say it. So he's won the X Games, he's won, like, global events. He's a huge star. Like, I think you can probably tell the level he's at, because before the Winter Olympics this year, Netflix released a documentary on him. And when he was a kid, he was clearly super talented. And he basically went and lived with some professional snowboarders from about the age of 10 or 11, and he toured around with them. And they recognised how amazing he was. Anyway, the thing that I loved about it, which I can relate to Simone Biles, and it's the sport that makes that pressure, is in the snowboard half-pipe final, you get 3 runs, and it's the best score wins. So it's not accumulation, it's just the best score wins. And basically, he's won bronze, silver at the Olympics before. And coming into this Olympics, he'd won the X Games before. He was favourite, but the Japanese are, like, incredible. So he gets to the Olympics. The final goes, first run, he falls, I think. The Japanese guys, there's 2 of them, I think, do a really good run. Second round, he lands a really good run, but the score wasn't as high as I think everyone thought. Everyone thought that's the winning run. Anyway, it all culminates in he's the last rider on the last run to win his Olympic gold on what could be his last ever chance. And he basically goes through this routine. He nails every single one of his tricks. He gets to the last trick, final big trick, and he puts a hand down and he loses it all.
So he didn't get gold?
He got silver. Yeah, he didn't get it. So he would have been on my list. But the thing that I'm talking about is you basically got to chuck it all on the line. And you're risking everything. There is danger.
Are we saying that slightly takes away from Simone Biles because she did go for a more conservative performance? If we're being honest.
I would say she won the all-round.
Okay.
Which is why I'm keeping it there.
Okay. But you're
it's
saying
a valid point.
She's a bit lower because you said she went for a slightly more, I can execute this, it's slightly easier, but she does have the twisties.
But I would say the pressure, though, is that she had to nail the execution because of that, which she did do. What's important with that is what the competition is doing. Over to you.
Right, my number 4 is Tom Brady. So this one, for any non-Americans or anyone who's not aware of this, Tom Brady trying to win his 5th Super Bowl. It's the final against the Atlanta Falcons. He is 28-3 down. He's in the 3rd quarter out of 4, for those who don't know how quarters work. And there's 2 minutes left on the clock in the 3rd quarter. So they're 28-3 down. This is, at this point, the bookies give them less than 2% chance of winning.
Okay.
So as you can probably imagine, they do win.
Yeah.
He's not completely on his own. He has help from Amendola, White, Edelman. Julian Edelman pulls off probably the most amazing catch you will ever see.
Yeah.
On one play, I'd encourage you to watch it because it's just mental.
Have you seen the Odell Beckham famous one?
I have, but this one's a very different one. This one, if you watch it, it's not like an amazing catch in terms of sort of gymnastically and athletically.
Yeah.
But the nature of how he gets hit and how he scrambles to get it on the floor.
Right.
It's centimetres from them not winning. If he doesn't catch that, they probably don't win.
Okay.
Anyway, so there are people that help him. The reason why this is, for me, one of the greatest performances, so the things that are in his favour, at that point, with 2 minutes left in the 3rd and then one final quarter, they score a touchdown. They're 28-3 down, so touchdown is 6 points. Then if you convert the kick, it's 1 point, but you can not go for the kick and go for an extra 2 points if you get a...
Did he do that?
You throw another touchdown, but you start from, I can't remember, maybe
10 metre line, is it?
Maybe 10 yards, yeah. So we're not massive NFL fans, but we can understand it. So they get the final 2 points twice.
Wow.
Going this. So if you think that's one shot, you have one down to get it over the line, and he does that twice. So in the pressure scenarios, one is a throw, one is a run.
Yeah.
It's the largest comeback in Super Bowl history. So it's called a 2-point conversion there. He did 2 of those, and then it went to overtime. So it was a 2-point play to go to overtime.
Wow.
Then in overtime, it's a winning drive the entire length of the pitch.
Really?
And so what I really want to highlight here, and why I think it's the greatest performance, so his regular statistics, his general career statistics. So pass completion, regular career, is 64%.
Okay.
In that final quarter, it's 76. So when the pressure is at its highest, he got better, which is a complete anomaly from what we know about pressure. Most of the time, pressure is a hindrance of performance across the board.
Mm-hmm.
Also, he was throwing, so if he threw at the pace that he was in the 4th quarter, he would have thrown 400 yards in the whole game. His career average in a game is 265. So in that 4th quarter, he was playing way above his career averages under the most pressure. So, and he is a central figure. So the reason he's in this is because he's centrally involved in every attacking play. Now, here's where I don't think he gets higher, or where you may pull him back. So he's already won 4 Super Bowls. So
with a different team, though, right?
No. So he will go on to win with the Bucks. This is still with the Patriots.
Okay, so you're not talking about... Okay.
No. This is not that one. This is against the Falcons. He's playing for the Patriots. So he's won 4 before. This is his 5th.
Yeah.
The other team were terrible in that last quarter. They couldn't defend, and they didn't score a single point further. Had they done, they would have won. So there was a bit of luck there. There were other people that helped him. And actually at 28-3, how much pressure are you under?
That's the point I'd have gone to. But I think that's muted that point because it builds.
As it builds, you could argue you then have momentum. So are your tails up? Is the energy now going? But equally, as you get closer, you go, oh my God, we're nearly going to do this. That pressure is very high.
Yeah.
And to get those stats at that point, when the pressure is so high and everything is on the line, for me is just, as an individual, he's 39 at this point, by the way. He also managed to run. He made a run at one point, which was very unlike him. Anyway, for me, that was just, less than 2% chance, and you perform at that level for that length. He was obviously awful earlier in the game, by the way. Yeah. So, but we don't take that. That doesn't matter in our...
Well, actually, I think it's important in our context because it makes the game
and the pressure's
closer.
Higher. Then they think, oh my God, he's bottled a big Super Bowl chance. So that's Brady at 4 for me. Thoughts?
I'm trying to... You've kind of covered my basis because you've said the cons, so now you've left me little. I don't think I disagree. I think it's a good one. I think, the fact that he's won 4 before is my only point I could probably give.
Which, again, both of our 4s probably there.
Yeah,
Mo
exactly.
Has won loads.
Yeah, that's probably
so
why.
So is Tom Brady. So that does take away that element.
Otherwise they'd be higher.
Okay. So your number 3.
Is your number, what was it?
Is it Johnny?
It's Johnny.
Johnny Wilkinson.
It's outrageous
okay, right.
that you're not higher.
Yeah, well, look.
Maybe I'll let you start because you've made an error.
I can tell you what I was thinking with Johnny if you want.
Please.
So, Johnny Wilkinson, I'm assuming we're talking about the World Cup final 2003.
Yes, of course.
Not some sort of other niche game.
Yeah.
Okay, so for me, it's partly who else I've had. I personally think the performance of Tom Brady and Muhammad Ali and my other top three are more consistent performance under pressure. That doesn't mean Johnny's isn't bigger. Firstly, England are the favourites going into that World Cup.
Yeah.
Australia are not. He only misses one kick, I believe.
I think he scored 3/4 of the points for England.
He only misses one kick, and that is the conversion.
Yeah.
But that try, he also played a pivotal role in with his pass. So every other kick he makes. Now, if you actually look at the pressure kicks, his main pressure kick was the drop goal, which he does off his wrong foot under pressure. This is unbelievable. I actually think Elton Flatley from Australia had more pressure moments in the game because he had to pull it to level twice.
Back, yeah.
Once to 14 points at the end of the game and then once to 17 points. And then Johnny goes on to win. But in terms of chasing, he had the massive pressure moment. But again, you're all to gain there. You're 17 all.
Yeah.
So that doesn't mean it's not a massive moment under pressure. It is.
Yeah.
You're going to con this, I think. So I know this is your one. I'm talking basically on it.
Doing my job.
I was invited to do so. You say it's in Australia. I'd say that's less pressure than it being in England, personally.
Yeah.
So you have,
hostility versus pressure.
Hostility. So if you look at England in the 2015 World Cup, was that more pressure? I don't know.
It's hard to tell with
Australia, you've got everyone against you, but that can bring a team together a lot.
But it equally can break you, and I'd say that's part of the good performance was the fact that it united them.
Go on. That's my thoughts on it.
Well, I think you've covered a lot of them. I've got other criteria that I'm adding into mine.
Okay.
So the reason why he isn't higher is because I think the difficulty of the skill is a factor in how good the performance under pressure is, and that explains my top two.
Right.
And so as a skill execution, for him, it's probably not something that isn't routine. Like he probably makes that kick in non-pressurized circumstances, even though it's with his wrong foot, which I think he is just so insanely hardworking and talented and gifted and a combination of all those things that he makes that look easy. And I think people realize. I actually interviewed him a few years ago, and I said to him,
"That's a flex on me."
Yeah, no, crop that one. Hate that, losers.
Carry on.
And I think I just said to him before we were actually filming, I was like, "Why'd you take it with your right?" And he's like, "Well, I thought I was going to take it with my left." And I was like, "To have that, it's a great option. But if I was thinking that was an option, I'd probably think it's not my right's not going to be as good."
Yeah.
And he knew he could do that. But I think, the fact that it was. So that marks him down a little bit, but then the fact he takes it with his right, it's actually further out, I think, than people realise. But the main thing for me, the two things that put it this high up are the audience size of people watching and the pressure on that. Like, I think it's one of those moments in sporting history, especially in the UK, that you remember exactly where you were and when you were. Yeah. Honourable mention for me, by the way, which he has now not made my list at all, which was not my plan a week ago, David Beckham versus Greece.
Oh, yeah, we did. So does that fall foul slightly to the one moment? Is that the...
It doesn't, because I actually think if you watch the game, he was exceptional.
So that
and
was
it was crowned.
Was it?
Yeah, ahead of the 2002.
I remember watching it, but very vaguely. I must have been 6. So
yeah, I think the thing for me that took it out was the fact that it was to qualify for a World Cup, which is a big deal. But if it was a World Cup final, it goes way higher.
But I almost think that's more pressure than the quarterfinal, because the negative consequences of not qualifying would be massive.
Especially after his 98.
Yeah, that is a really good one. And in terms of if we were doing moments under pressure, I think that could be in there.
Yeah.
As well, I do think in terms of historical impact, I feel like that's maybe other people from other countries would disagree, but for me, it's one of the biggest rugby moments of all time.
And also, it's the way he has done it and has continued to. Like, I know you told me about this, but you can maybe tell a story about when he came in and the aura he had.
Well, he definitely occupies a space in the sport that very few players have. Mm-hmm. And when I was at London Irish, in 2015, there were World Cup camps going on. and our ground, Hazelwood, was picked as one of the venues. And so we'd constantly have players coming through and walking around and doing the stuff. And you'd have players like, Dan Carter, Sonny Bill Williams, the Aussie team. I can't remember exactly, but players would come in and out. And you'd often come across big name players. But we were once sat in the canteen and someone walked in and pretty much everyone just went quiet. And Johnny walked in the room and there was this aura of, that's Johnny Wilkinson. And I think that moment and who he was, the age he was, the consistency, everything about him, the way he presents himself has just put him in this realm. And I think that moment has more weight than most others. Now, the other rugby moment that probably falls foul to the performance element and didn't make the list was Dan Carter against the Lions 2005.
Yeah.
Now, that doesn't make it, A, because New Zealand was so good.
Yeah.
B, the performance was unbelievable. And I think it was too easy. So if we were talking about best performances, perhaps that then comes in higher. So that's where, if you're understanding this list. So Johnny, I think that when you talk about it, I do think it does come up there. For me, it just wasn't as high compared to my 5. But I see why he's there.
Okay.
And he was my hero growing up.
You've let him down.
Maybe I have. I'm sorry, John. Okay, so my number 3 is Ben Stokes. Now, this is the only one that I think we know each other have.
Yes.
Now, if you've definitely got him higher, so how much higher are we talking about him now, or are we like? Have you got him in the 2 or the 1?
He's been my number 1 the whole time since we started this, but he's my number 2.
He's your number 2.
He's my number 2. Yeah.
Okay, so that means we can talk about him now because we'd next be going on to him. Okay, well, all right. So Ben Stokes. I'm talking about Headingley. Are you talking about Headingley? Yeah,
I was going to say the fact that it could be 2 within 1 year is already amazing. But I am talking about Headingley, not World Cup final.
So Ben Stokes, Headingley, obviously he comes in a pretty precarious position, batting with Joe Root. He gets 1 run off 50 balls on the first day he's in. For context, they are chasing down 369, I think, against Australia in the Ashes. If they lose this test, that's the Ashes lost. Yeah. Because Australia only needs to draw to retain it. I think there's 2 tests remaining. Yeah. So that first day, 1 run off 50 balls. Next day comes in, and it's actually looking okay because Joe Root's looking quite nice, but he gets out very early. Then it's Ben Stokes leading the charge. Over that time, he starts picking up the pace, but he's losing partners. Yeah. So I think he then has, is it Joss after?
Yeah, I think so.
So Joss Butler comes in. He then runs him out, which may be a slight black mark against him in this performance under pressure. He runs him out. No, Bairstow first. Bairstow's going all right. Yeah. But then gets out for maybe 30. Yeah. Then Butler comes in, doesn't really get a chance to, bother the scorers at all. Then I think it's
Chris Wokes and Stuart Broad.
Chris Wokes, Stuart Broad.
And then Jack Leach.
Jofra Archer.
There's Jofra.
Jofra scores a couple of quick 4s. Anyway.
Classic Jofra.
People are falling away. He's lost all of his partners bar 1. Jack Leach comes in. It's 286 for 9. They need 76 runs to win. Yeah. Off a 10th wicket partnership. Yeah. Now, I don't have the odds for this, or what?
I have the percentage probability. Well, you said 2%. It was less than 2% probability of winning at that stage.
It was.
Yeah.
So he then goes on over his innings. He scores 11 4s and 8 6s. He basically rotates the strike with Jack Leach for that whole partnership. He scores all the runs bar 1, or maybe 2 because 1 was an extra.
It was a noble or a wide or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. But he scored 74 out of 76. Yeah. And the style of which he does it is emphatic against one of the greatest Australian bowling attacks they've ever had, bar maybe the Shane Warne era. Yeah. And at that point where your back is against the wall, Ashes are on the line, delivering. So I've got him at 3. You've got him at 2.
Yes. Why is he not higher for you?
Why is he not higher for me? So the cons for me.
Okay.
So I actually do think if we were just doing performance, this could be number 1.
So I would say the same because chances of it happening ever again.
Yeah.
It's never been done before.
So why, in terms of pressure, do I think this isn't as high?
Okay.
So he did get fairly lucky quite a lot. This is one of the only things.
He also was out with the
in the same way
review.
Brady got lucky that the other team just didn't do it. But you can't control that.
So, yeah, okay.
he did get out. So he got bowled, but he got very lucky that they'd used the review.
Yeah.
And it was very close to the end of this happening.
Yeah.
And the run out with Jack Leach.
Yeah.
So that, again, lucky. He also got dropped.
Yeah.
So that slightly counts against him for me.
Mm-hmm.
So there is a luck element there. The other thing is, if he gets out and there's still 20 runs to get, I think he comes out smelling of roses. Yeah. I don't think at that point, so he probably would listen to this and disagree and say, for me, it was only about winning, and if I lost, I'd be devastated. I take that. However, I still think you come off there and go, that was pretty good, wasn't it? Like,
yeah, I do get that.
I don't think the stakes personally are as high.
But like
as
the Brady one, okay, like the Brady one, when there's hope and the hope becomes more, then the pressure does build,
Agreed.
right?
And that's why he's higher than Brady.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't think, but I still think at any point throughout that, he's done so well.
Yeah.
He's completely earned his colours, in my opinion, before he wins it. The fact he wins it, and that's why, if cricket fans are listening, getting annoyed at this, it would be, I think, without looking, the greatest performance of all time. If I was doing pure performance.
Yeah, I'd agree. Yeah.
So my feeling is there. I think he can feel this home crowd behind it. I've done an unbelievable job. I'm not sure the pressure is. That said, it's number 3 of all time. I'm not sure.
Still pretty. I don't think you have to justify it.
I'm not saying.
I think he'll be thrilled.
I just think with my 2 and 1,
the
perceived pressure. I think people will get annoyed about my 2, but that
good. You can have some hate.
But that for me, those elements. So the element of luck, you did actually get out. Either way, you performed at such a high level.
Yeah.
No one at that point when you're going back with Jack Leach, I don't think the expectations are you'll win this. The fact that you did, and you've got nothing to lose, if that makes sense. So you can whack it around, and if you do get caught, do you see what I mean with that?
Yeah.
There's less.
I do. Shall I give you my con?
Yeah.
Because I've only got one, and then I'll give my pros. So my con is that if we lost, we did lose the Ashes, but it was only to keep the Ashes alive. So what was on the line wasn't winning the Ashes.
Right, yeah, makes sense.
And similarly, I know that this doesn't come into our criteria, but we did then not win the Ashes, which all of that, you're like, oh, that's quite annoying. All of those elements of the luck, I think that just adds to the story. But it's also how he approached it. The way that, like, you could say he had nothing to lose when we needed 70 to win, 60 to win, 50 to win, 40, 30, even 20. But when it gets down to the teens, he's still playing in the same style.
Yeah.
And he still executes it.
Well, does he?
Well, but him playing in that way is why they didn't do the right things.
And you could say that, but my point was he actually got out. And the fact that's their fault because they lost review, and I completely get that. That's where I just think that element of luck helped out, but that's part of sport. So I do take that, and also a lot of things I'm saying for Ben Stokes right now are going to come back to haunt me.
Oh, great! You carry on.
Funny story about this: I was sat at home watching this, and a Sainsbury's delivery arrived.
Oh no!
And he must have needed 40 or 30 runs, and it was when it was really like he was Western Terrace.
Yeah.
And like at that point,
down on one knee.
Delivery driver comes and he can see the TV. Yeah. And he was like, what's he on? So he had obviously been listening to it as well.
Oh no.
And I was like,
do you want to come in?
Do you want to come in and sit? He came and sat for 10 minutes.
Really?
The delivery driver at Sainsbury's
Love it.
sat for 10 minutes and we watched Ben Stokes together.
Really?
I remember, I don't know if I've had watching a sporting moment quite like that ever, because the sport, the Ashes, the quality of the shots, the unlikeliness of achieving it was so great. So that's why for me it would be number 1 sporting performance of all time, potentially. I'd have to do a full list. But that's where it is. Under pressure, I'm just not sure compared to my top 2 there is as much pressure in terms of personal pressure.
Okay. We can agree. I'm going to let you go to number 2, but if anyone hasn't watched in lockdown when he did the watch along, have you seen that?
Yeah, I have.
So good. I also love the story because of Jack Leach getting the one. It's like the greatest one in history, and then them replaying it on the pitch after. Yeah. It's not the point, but I am intrigued what your number 2 is, because I don't know what you're going to do to beat that.
I know. It's going to annoy, but for me, it is that element of perceived pressure. Good. I think you did mention before as well, because he did have the summer. That summer, he was the World Cup super over, winning it. And that was pretty unbelievable as well. So, Okay, so my number 2. So this is the one that I thought is going to be most controversial for people. So you're going to have to bear with me. And if you still disagree, you're wrong.
Okay.
Okay, my number 2 is Rory McIlroy
Oh no.
at the Masters. So I am being very specific here. The performance under pressure I'm looking at is the 22-minute period between him missing his putt.
So the playoff.
Yeah, to the end of the playoff.
Okay.
There's 22 minutes, so I've watched it back. The reason why this is number 2 for me is because I feel it's the most felt pressure of all of mine. Why is that? After that hot start to his career, where he almost completed the career Grand Slam very quickly,
Yeah.
he then couldn't get over this hump of the Masters, and he couldn't really win any majors.
Yeah.
And he's getting this moniker of bottler.
Because he's been in
Bottler.
position to win them. Because
And hasn't he? Yeah.
leading the Masters by
And then
4 shots?
other ones he's been leading.
Yeah.
And he's starting to get this reputation. Now, that is a lot of pressure from an identity point of view. The career Grand Slam itself is an unbelievable achievement. I think people realise quite how unbelievable an achievement that is.
Yeah.
You know, I think no one had done it since Tiger.
Yeah.
And then only, is it 6 people or 7
Yeah, I
people?
think
Something like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, not many people have done this. It's very, very hard. The Masters itself is unbelievably hard to win. He starts it off very well. He's pretty much the favourite the first couple of days.
Yeah. He's also in good form coming into it, which adds pressure, I think.
So every single year he turns up. It's the only question. It's plaguing
and
this
he
man.
acknowledges it and he says, I want to win it. So he's adding his own pressure.
And again, it wouldn't come near to greatest performances of all time, this performance.
Yeah, because so you're looking at the 22 minutes, I'm looking at the whole final round. He was leading.
He almost ruins it.
Yeah, he hit that duff chip. He missed a couple of putts. Like he didn't play.
He
hit some unbelievable shots as well, though. Yeah.
And for me, that's why overall performance, he doesn't come near. And in the same way, Brady wouldn't come near either, because if you look at that as a performance,
okay.
But as part of this, we said this can be a period of time where you're performing under pressure.
Honourable mention, by the way, for Justin Rose, his final round.
Yeah, I mean, he's sort of the best supporting actor in this film that I'm describing. But the reason this comes higher for me is, so the expectation on him is unbelievably high. However, his history at this tournament is bottling it.
Yeah.
So the amount of thoughts this man must have had of it's happening again. He gets the 18th and mucks it up.
He also, by the way, on the 18th, had a quite makeable putt.
He did.
To win it.
Now,
which is tough.
For me, now you can look at that 2 ways. You can look at that as, I've just done it, so I've had a practice.
Yeah.
Or you can look at it as, I just mucked this up.
That's exactly how I look at it.
Plaguing my head. Justin Rose is...
He's on a hot streak.
He's been absolutely flying today. He's probably thinking, this is meant to be now, because Rory's also come down. He must be thinking, oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm going to sneak in here.
Smashing
I think he's the man.
Because also, if you look at it, Rory was paired with Bryson DeChambeau in the final round, who didn't compete. No. But it shows the pressure, because he's one of the biggest names. He was playing well, and he came nowhere near it.
He also, because he'd just finished, goes back to the tee.
Yeah.
He has to wait for Justin Rose. Justin Rose is over on the practice greens, the driving range. So he stood there waiting. And we all know that the silence is tough there. So what's running through his mind? Now, a shout out here to Rory's caddy, because when Rory finished and goes to a playoff, you can imagine all the thoughts that are racing.
Yeah.
And Rory's caddy says, we would have taken this at the start of the week.
Yeah.
And that reframe allows you to see it as an opportunity and not a challenge. However, Rose goes first because he was in the clubhouse first. Hits a nice drive. Rory then pulls out an unbelievable drive. And the thing with golf, and we've spoken about this, is it is an automatic movement that can be massively interfered with by conscious thought. And we talk about this with self-monitoring and how we want to use our implicit memory to deliver automatic movements. Golf is probably the one where you're most vulnerable to this. So he hits a lovely drive a little bit further. They're in a similar spot. Rose then is slightly further away, so it goes second. Hits a pearl of
good
an
shot,
iron.
yeah.
I think he got to about 8 feet, maybe 10.
Yeah, it was one of those in between, wasn't it? Makeable.
So he's basically, he's in 4, right?
Yeah,
so
totally.
He's in 4, we know that. Yeah. Rory then has to pull out his iron, which he's literally mucked up 15 minutes prior.
Yeah.
And at this point, you're thinking, I cannot play safe. You have to get within. But equally, there's no pressure of he had to go in. Like, you're still expected. And he pulls out probably one of the greatest iron shots we'll ever see and gets to within, I think, 4 feet.
Yeah.
Maybe even less. And then Rose 2 putts.
Yeah.
And he has 1 putt to win. Not too dissimilar to the one he had just mucked up.
Yeah.
And he sinks it.
Yeah.
So the reason I have this ahead of Ben Stokes is because that period of 22 minutes, the felt pressure for me, the prior history to it, the expectation is. So the thing with Stokes is, as we said, at that point, if he hadn't won it, no one would have really said boo. It would have been, you did a fantastic job, man.
Yeah.
Rory is cementing a legacy if he mucks that up.
And also Rory's set himself up to be outspoken, to put himself in that position. So he would have got it and he would have taken it. But I think if you saw his reaction when he did sink it, it
was almost
pretty relief.
It was literally like,
we can stop doing this now.
To block those thoughts out.
Yeah.
And to focus and deliver one of the best holes of your career, for me, is one of the greatest performances under pressure there is.
So I can say a couple of things.
Right?
I do, yeah. Like, he's my number one for sure. I'm totally baffled by what your number one is, if it isn't anyone we've already mentioned. But the things
I don't know what yours is either. But
that's mine. Rory. Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
I thought I was up against a real battle there.
No, Rory's my number one. I did not tell you that. Big reveal.
You didn't say when I mentioned it.
Oh, yeah, he's my number one. And
really?
You've just validated that. Thanks very much. Yeah.
Right, wow.
So, but because I think of everything you've just said, it was an 11-year drought, only the 6th in history.
Honestly,
what else would I have been?
Because I think I said to you a couple of weeks ago, and I thought about this, that was one that I had in mind. And we hadn't swapped lists.
No.
And you were kind of like, oh, I can't believe that got ahead of Stokes for you.
Yeah, well, so the reason why it has is because of the time. The 11-year wait for him, the 6th in history, but also I'm taking the whole round. Because although Rory plays like this, I guess.
Oh, wait, so you're considering his final round as your top one. Well, that's cool. That's different in my
because he hits some shots in it which are unbelievable.
That
he has
round
the trees.
The 14th or something.
It's either 15 or 16, I think.
Yeah, that's 16 sounds right. Oh,
and he has, and the margins for error in golf are so small. So as much as he did play some shots and miss some putts that put him in that compromised position, he also pulled off some insane shots. So I could have picked any one of a few to put him in this position. Also, the Masters is just so iconic. Like, it's such an incredible, prestigious event. I think that counts a huge amount for it. The fact that he played Bryson in the final round was ginormous. Like, Bryson's the biggest commercial name in the sport. He's turned his whole career around with his YouTube channel and all of the other various things he's doing. Like, he's a live player, which Rory's obviously fought against. There's all of this narrative around it. And so I think the fact that he fought off Bryson, because he'd have won. I think Bryson actually ended up third or fourth, maybe. It was quite low down.
By the end,
so he only actually had to play Justin Rose because of how good Justin Rose was. And then to do that, and then to have that 22 minutes, which you've explained perfectly well, was so good, so I don't need to do that, is why it was overall for me.
Yeah, because if you look at it from, again, we come back to that performance versus performance under pressure, I don't think it comes close in terms of one of the greatest overall performances.
Yeah.
Because you mucked up on 18th. You were mucked up earlier in the day. If it was the greatest performance, it would be one of Tiger Woods' performances.
Exactly.
So
that's why he's so high on my list.
Okay.
Because of that criteria.
So actually what we've got, the scenario we have now is I now need to convince you by my number one.
I just even, I feel like I've missed an obvious one.
Well, shall I give it to you? In my opinion, the greatest sporting performance under pressure of all time is Alex Honnold climbing El Capitan free solo without ropes for the first time ever.
Well, he wins on one of the criteria, doesn't he?
Well, let me explain why I think this is. So it was the first time it's ever happened, never happened before, and it's never happened since.
He's not done a Roger Bannister when they all start running
people
up
have
it.
not, the floodgates have not opened.
No, people are
I
like,
understand
well
why.
done you.
This is a 3,000-foot vertical granite wall. Experienced climbers find this hard with ropes.
Can I just stop you? I don't like the way you're going about this because I like the sound.
So this is the other thing. It takes him 3 hours, 56 minutes. If we look at Ben Stokes, he has time in between balls. He can refresh, he can reset. It's not all on his shoulders. There is no time in this where you're not hanging off a sheer rock face and having to do small moves. He prepared for a year for this. And in theory, you can never make any mistakes when you actually do it. So all the others can and did make mistakes under pressure. He cannot. He can't make a mistake.
A significant mistake.
A significant mistake. But equally, all the others throughout their performances probably did make significant mistakes. Muhammad Ali probably got punched a few times. Ben Stokes got out for God's sake, got lucky. Tom Brady was, awful in certain areas, was chucking interceptions. Rory McIlroy mucks it up on the 18th. He cannot make a significant mistake. The stakes on his are higher than anyone else's because he'll die. It's 3 hours 56 of consistent, dedicated concentration, as well as the benefit side of being the first person ever. Now, the area where he doesn't have as higher levels. Now, felt pressure, we can't know this because he does take a long time to do it, which indicates to me he is nervous about it. Historical impact has been huge. Free Solo, that film, everything around it, the impact it's had. Have you watched Free Solo?
Yeah, but I don't like heights, so I hated it.
So this is the thing. There's 1,000 feet up the wall. There is something called the boulder problem. The boulder problem is basically the hardest part, the most technical part of the climb, and it has two potential solutions. One involves a jump, which he said is too risky when you've not got a rope.
Don't do that, Alex.
The other is this sort of karate kick style where you leverage, both incredibly dangerous. And you watch it, he didn't want any cameras on him at that point because he didn't want his friends to basically see him die if it didn't go right. Now, if that doesn't elevate stakes to you, that means he thought he might. When you actually watch it, I can't describe how horrific it is when he's doing it, and you're just like, oh my God, he lives. And I'm still
He's still not sure,
A lot of these moments have that feeling. Stokes, when I watch it, I still feel like there's this element. That said, the uncertainty of it is less because you can practice it with ropes, and all the others, you probably have an adversary. Technically not with McIlroy. You do, but you don't, if that makes sense. He said he would think about he'd do a lot of visualization, and you'd constantly be thinking about what it would be like if you did fall. But when he made the climb, he had to block it out completely. Now, we can all talk about blocking thoughts out for 4 hours, and the thought that could be, I'm going to lose my life, is just, for me, it's the greatest. Now, you could even argue maybe it's not sport. I think it is. For me, that is the greatest sporting performance under pressure of all time.
I think I have to be careful about how trying to take this one down.
I don't think Alex will mind.
Okay, that's good of him. So, did you watch his Taipei 101?
Yeah. Oh, the highlights only.
Yes. Once you've seen the start, it's kind of the same throughout. So, I've listened to him on a few things, like a couple of podcasts. He did Stephen Bartlett recently. It's quite interesting. I think one thing initially that springs to mind is that we don't know anything about climbing. We're not experienced at it. So he's climbed for over 30 years and he's incredibly skilled. I don't know if you've seen on the Taipei climb when he's hanging near the top, like he's hooked his knee over and he's sort of hanging from the building and everyone's like hearts in mouths. What are you doing? Just get on with it. He says that's actually quite a standard hold in rock climbing. It's really safe. And when he talked about doing that climb, he said there was pressure because it was on TV, but as a climb, he was
the Taipei one.
He was 99% sure he was going to do it.
Right.
Obviously, that's not the case in your one. But what I would say is he has done this thing for over 30 years, and certain things aren't actually that difficult to him, even though the risk and the consequences are ginormous. But my other thing is there's no competition. And so obviously, not to disregard the consequence if he doesn't do it, which would be hideous, and it outweighs every other by 1,000,000% on that factor. But no one's asked him to do it. If he's got halfway up and said, I don't really like this, I'm going to go back down. Actually, I don't know how you get off.
I don't think you can.
Right.
I think
The only way is to get to the top, and then you can
I'm not
get picked
sure
up or
unless
something.
someone came and airlifted you out. I don't
Right.
think there's a way.
So does that lose a factor? The fact that there's no competition, there's no...
I definitely take it into account.
You've thrown a curveball in it.
Because even with him, the thing that stands out for me is no one has done it since.
Yeah.
And no one, that was in 2017. We're in 2026. I would have thought that show went so big. If there were any climbers out there that felt they had the ability, they would do it.
Mm-hmm.
The fact they haven't shows that there is either a fear of it being too technically challenging to do without a rope, or no one else is skillful enough. Either way, he's not even done it since.
Yeah.
I just think the ability to do that is beyond, and the pressure that it brings on is beyond anything else. So that felt pressure is the one that I'd say maybe he feels it less than other people, but the way he talks about it is, I had to prepare for a year just to get my mind right. The place that doesn't strike me as someone who doesn't feel pressure. That's someone that is unbelievably aware of how that will be, whether you can do it.
And also when he's doing it, he's got to control his mind so well, because he can't have a panic and think, this is scaring me.
You have to be consistently focused for
pretty much
3
4
hours,
hours.
56 minutes.
Yeah.
So that's my number one. Look.
It's good.
I think now...
Well done though, Rory. A deserved winner.
Well, this is
I
our
don't
thing.
know.
We now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Have I convinced you with Alex? Or not? If I haven't,
I'm
we go
not
with Rory.
comparing apples and apples, is why I'm... But if you want me to, no, I'm sticking with Rory.
Well, that puts in
For legacy.
Rory McIlroy, Masters is number 1. Number 2, do you give it to him above Ben Stokes?
Do I give Rory above Ben Stokes?
No, Honourable.
Oh, I don't.
Okay, well, I won't push him lower than 3.
Johnny is good.
See, I'll give you Stokes at 2,
Yeah.
but I can't let Honourable drop further.
Okay,
than 3.
I will let him go 3 because I know who I'll nudge out.
Okay.
Thanks for coming, Andy. It's nice to have you.
So we have Rory Stokes, Honourable. So you've got 2 of...
It's a strong start.
I've got 3
But
of
you've
mine.
also got those 2.
I've got 3.
Yeah.
See what we've
Not
done
in your
there,
order,
with
though.
sleight of hand. So I've got Brady and Ali left. Who have you got? You've got Johnny,
Simone Biles, and Andy Murray.
I personally, because this is hard.
I'm going to give you 1 based purely on the criteria and not on greatest sporting performance. Because if it was just, like we've said, I think it's important. If it was just the greatest sporting performance, this wouldn't be our top 5.
Yeah.
It's the under pressure
exactly
thing.
Right,
so Simone Biles, because of the criteria, comes out because she won really well.
I think I would have to agree. I think for her, it was, if any, like the pressure beforehand I do get, and I think she's very much worthy in the top 5. I think, like you say, a bit easy for her. And she won those before.
Yeah.
So that leaves us with Johnny, Muhammad Ali, and Brady for the last 2 spots. So
I know where my vote who leaves.
I think we're probably going to agree. I think Johnny gets in.
He does.
You have him at 3.
I had him at 3, but I'm happy for him to go.
And I am at 6.
4.
So 4 or 5 is a common. Okay, so out of Ali and Brady, who are you keeping?
Ali.
You're keeping Ali.
Yeah. Because Tom Brady, similar to Simone Biles, won 4 already, and he went on to win others after.
Look, Brady can leave then. I accept that.
Okay.
That said, I would have
You want to
Ali
put him above
ahead
Johnny?
of Johnny because I think the individual nature of this and the one-off moment of it, whereas the World Cup is you have your teammates, you have your support staff.
Can I give my final Hail Mary for Johnny?
Yeah, well, I'm putting him in the top 5. I'm giving.
Oh, that's good of you.
I think that's
Yeah,
good.
but I think if you have that, then you technically win this. So I need to maintain Johnny's position.
It's not about winning, Jamie.
It's
firstly.
always about that
It's
for
about
you.
getting the right list, in my opinion. So
My only other thing for Johnny to put him at 4, not 5, is you can tell me way better than me on this, but the whole strategy of that extra time, overtime, was to set Johnny up for a drop goal.
I think so. I mean, there's lots of documentaries on it. I don't remember fully what the.
Did that help my argument at all?
Not huge.
No.
I think for me, the impact of Ali, it was such a big event.
Culturally and globally, I think Ali bigger impact. I'd give you that as a I think it's hard as well because will we be talking about Johnny like we are So a lot of kids even talking about Johnny like they are versus Muhammad Ali. I'm now arguing your point.
That said, I would imagine felt pressure would be higher for Johnny.
I think the pre-fight pressure and before it all starts would have been ginormous. But when you're in it, I'm imagining you don't have much time. Yeah.
Okay. I'm happy to concede and let you have Johnny at 4.
I'm not sure I want him at 4.
I just think
I think it
could
should
be
be
up for some abuse if we've put
had
Johnny
it before.
Wilson above Muhammad Ali. So just to be clear, this is our top 5 greatest sporting performances under pressure by an individual. At number 5, we have Muhammad Ali, Rumble in the Jungle, George Foreman. At number 4, we have Johnny Wilkinson, 2003 World Cup final. At number 3, we have Alex Honnold, free soloing El Capitan. At number 2, we have Ben Stokes, Headingley, comeback performance. And at number 1, Rory McIlroy, Masters win in 2025. That'll annoy some people. Are we happy with that?
I think so.
I think that's a pretty good list.
Yeah,
well,
good.
But there will be an episode coming out soon on performance under pressure. A solo episode, this one will be.
It won't be the same.
It won't be the same.
Yeah.
Less fun, more
Should be a regular fixture,
more
this thing,
informative. Well, thank you for coming back on for the second show. That was enlightening. Thank you for your time and your picks.
You're welcome.
I
think we should do a trilogy.
You inspired me.
Really? And you dominated me.
I don't know if I did in the end, but there we are.
And I think we've definitely missed some. I just can't think.
I'm sure we have.
Well enough.
People will let us know. So thank you very much, Jamie.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for listening. And please join again for the next episode of Human Alchemy or Ross Examination. Been a pleasure. Have a great day, weekend, or whatever you're doing. Bye-bye.